Hi guys, I'm Sarah Butler and you're watching Cowgirls Live. It's been super snowy here the last few days and it's been pretty hard to ride my horse, so I didn't go to any barrel races over the weekend. But I do want to talk about keeping your horses in shape. So right now my horse is kind of out of shape because it's been really cold out and I just have given him a break really. So Tigger, my main barrel horse, I should say, is kind of out of shape. He's kind of fat, and he's just been out in the field a lot. He's been a field ornament, as I like to call it. So, over the last few weeks, I've been trying to get him in shape. So, for today's tip, I'm just going to talk about getting your barrel horse in shape. So, horses, they have muscles just like we do. They have leg muscles, chest muscles, and all that good stuff. But there's some main important muscles for barrel racing that they use. So when horses run, obviously they're using their leg muscles and their chest muscles and their butt muscles. So those are muscles that are really important for them to be kept in shape. And they also use their neck muscles too. So from keeping my horses in shape, I like to make sure that the muscle is built up so that when I'm running barrels, my horse doesn't feel sore or run out of energy. So their lungs have to also be in shape as well. So for keeping a horse's lungs in shape, I like to long trot my horse. A long trot is when they're fully extended at the trot, so their legs get to completely stretch out. And if you do it for a few minutes at a time, it works their lungs as well, so it keeps their lungs in shape, just like any runner would. They go out and they run for miles to practice for running for like a marathon. So horses are the same way with barrel racing, even though they're only running for 15 seconds, hopefully. They do need to have strong, healthy lungs. So long trotting helps with that. Long trotting also helps keep up their overall muscle mass because it works a lot of their muscles at once. It works, all of their leg muscles because they're completely stretching out their legs. It works their chest muscles. It works their butt muscles. So that's one thing that is really important when you want your horse to be in shape. And I also focus on hills a lot for my horses because that works their chest muscles when they're going down a hill and their butt muscles when they're going up a hill. So obviously, if you were to walk up a super steep hill, when you get to the top or when you're halfway up the hill, you can kind of feel your leg muscles and your upper leg muscles being worked because of all the tension and stress on your muscles. So hills are the same way for horses. So I like to keep my horses going up and down a lot of hills during the barrel season and even during the off season to keep them in shape. But I haven't been keeping my horse in shape in the last month he was off. So the last 2 weeks I've been really working him to get him back to his old self. So that's what I've been doing. Lots of hills and long trotting. So that's today's tip. Now we're going to talk about sponsors. So I'm going to screen share with you guys and show you my sponsors' websites. So right now you're being screen shared with. So CraigShipp.com is one of my sponsors and they have a Facebook page. So I want you guys to follow their Facebook or like their Facebook page because it's Facebook, not Instagram. So if you could like their Facebook page, that would be awesome. Just hit this like. I'm not going to hit it because then I'll unlike it. And then go ahead and scroll down their page. You can click on their videos. I've already done that. But if you want to learn about businesses in Frederick County, you can click on this page. And then really anywhere on the page, it talks about small businesses and stuff like that. But specifically under videos, you can watch different videos about different markets. Different businesses that are in Frederick County. So Wagner Meats. I go to Wagner Meats every now and again with my mom when she goes shopping for meat, but that's where we get most of our meat from because we don't like to get super processed meat because, fresh meat is obviously better. Wagner's Meats in Mount Airy has really good food. Really, especially their bacon. Their bacon's really good, and they have fresh meat, like straight out of the pig and the cows. So definitely go to Frederick County's Facebook page and watch some of their videos. Check out their small businesses and go buy Wagner meats if you get a chance, because they have some really good bacon. And they also have dog bones too. So if you go in there and you ask for like a bag of dog bones, they'll give you a bag of dog bones that are like fresh. I think they're from like pigs or cows. I'm not really sure, but my dog loves them. So check them out. Also, my other sponsor, Catoctin Mountain Orchard, they are going to be closed soon. So as you can see here, right here, during the month of January, they are open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then February, March, and April, they're going to be closed completely. So if you want to go ahead over to Catoctin Mountain Orchard on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday in January, that would be a great idea, because they have a bunch of homemade pies there that you can just put in your oven and heat up. And then, like, if you don't want to eat them right then, you can put them in your freezer and then heat them up, like, a month later, and they'll still be good. So go check them out. Pick up some pies or really anything. They have tons of stuff there that you can make. They have pies. They have, cookie mixes. They also have cider, all that stuff. And because I mentioned cider, I'm going to click on this recipe here. Under their recipe tab on their website, because I love cider. So if you want to make cider wassail, hopefully I pronounced that right, click on this website, make some cider of your own. So let me just go back here and stop sharing my screen with y'all. And X out of my tabs. So throughout the video, go ahead and ask me plenty of questions. Oh, I'm still screen sharing with you guys. Unshare screen. Okay.
You're good. You're good.
So let me just read some of y'all's comments. OFrog27 says hi. Hi. And then he says he's Ben's friend. And then Excellent Listener says, what is that leaning on your footboard? Well, you're going to find out quite soon. David Williams says, hi, Sarah and all. Hi, David Williams. R. Wag says, hi, everybody. Sarah, what kind of shotgun is that? Let's get them a sponsor. Get them as a sponsor. You know what? That would be pretty cool if I could get a shotgun sponsor. But anyway, today we have a super special guest that I'm going to show you guys. Let me just wait a second and make sure that the camera looks good. So today I'm going to be introducing Ben Butler to you guys. Ben Butler. So let me just make sure my camera looks good. Okay. So Ben is a hunter, and his last name is Butler. He's actually my brother, so it's Ben Butler. So I'm going to ask him some questions about hunting and about just what he does. So, Ben, how old are you?
12.
And how long have you been hunting for?
About 2 years.
Okay, so Ben's going to tell us all about hunting and all about the animals he's shot and about shotguns and bows and even hunting safety. So, can you tell me how many different animals you've killed?
The number? Or
Yeah, just in number, and like tell me what kinds too, because we just want to know all about it. So just tell us all the details you have.
So I've killed 5 deer in my life. They're all bucks. I've killed 4 button bucks and 1 spike. And I've killed 4 squirrels, I believe so. And they're gray squirrels.
Okay, so just deer and squirrels?
Yeah, and I've killed 1 or 2 raccoons, I believe.
Okay, so how did you shoot or kill all these animals? Did you use like a bow or a gun for all of them?
I've used a gun for all the animals that I've killed.
Okay, but there's also other ways of killing animals, right?
Actually, I have killed one deer with a bow.
Okay, so Ben has killed one deer with a bow, and then all the other animals he shot have been with, or he's killed, have been with his gun. So you've shot squirrels, deer, and raccoons. So where did you get this raccoon?
Right in our front yard.
Oh, okay. I'm actually gonna tell you guys a quick story, but I don't think this one's about the you didn't shoot the one that was in our tree, did you?
I did.
Oh, so yeah, he did. So, last year, it was like a year ago. I'm gonna tell you guys this because it's a really funny story. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I just hear this like barking in my front yard, and we live in a neighborhood, so like my dog barks occasionally when there's like a person running around the neighborhood or like going for a walk or some weird suspicious car. But we live in a neighborhood and there was a raccoon in our tree in our front yard. We do have woods in our backyard, but there was a raccoon in our tree in the front yard, 8 o'clock in the morning. You know, it woke me up because my dog's barking and I hear like all these people yelling outside. So I have 5 younger siblings and Ben is one of my middle siblings and he was also out there. So this somewhat relates to the video. But anyway, he was out there and my 2 little sisters were out there like screaming at this tree. And you know, I'm gonna ask Ben the rest of the story since he was actually down there in the action while I was just watching, you know, from my window.
Okay, and just so you guys know, I didn't shoot it with a real gun because that would be illegal. I shot it with a pellet gun. It still has plenty enough power, but it's not considered a real gun. But anyway, I woke up and everyone's outside barking and yelling and stuff. And there's a raccoon in the tree, so I figured I'd go ahead and get my gun, and I shot it down from the tree. And then I put it in the woods so it wouldn't stink up the yard.
Yeah, so listen to this. This raccoon was in our tree and the dog was barking and did you shoot it out of the tree?
Yes, ma'am.
So he shot it with a pellet gun because you can't use a shotgun within like a certain range of your house. And this thing falls out of the tree. It like flumped on the ground. Like I don't know if flump's a word, but it like the noise it made, it was like plump. Like it was so fat. It was a really fat, heavy raccoon, and it took a lot to get it out of the tree. Like we were just doing like everything we could to get it out of the tree. But anyway, it fell out of the tree and my dog got it. We have 2 dogs. So my bigger dog picked this raccoon up and he just ran away with it. And it was the funniest thing to watch out my window because this thing fell to the ground. My dog grabbed it and then everybody starts chasing after my dog, after this raccoon.
Can I add something? The raccoon was still alive a little bit, but then once my dog ran around the yard a couple times, we got him to put it down, and then I finished it off and shot it.
So the moral of the story is if you're a raccoon, don't come in our yard. That's another tip for you guys today. If there's any raccoons watching our video. RWAG says Ben's a poster for the NRA. And you're right, Ben could totally be a poster. Flippin' Zippo says in 10 years the dude's gonna be taking down bear with a bow. You know what? That'd be pretty cool. Ben's a pretty cool kid. Clive Watch Wrangler says, I've got a good story about how the drama mama got a case of post-traumatic squirrel disorder. All right, tell me about it, Clive Watch Wrangler. An excellent listener says, 1 shot with a pellet gun killed a raccoon, ?
No, I didn't hit it in the right spot, so I had to shoot it a couple times.
Yeah, so the pellet gun didn't even actually kill the raccoon. It just kind of made it fall out of the tree. And then my giant German Shepherd boxer mixed dog proceeded to kill the raccoon because once it hit the ground, I saw his jaws like latch onto that raccoon and like chomp. He's really like protective of his family and like all my little siblings were out there and he's like, no, this raccoon is not gonna hurt like these little kids. So he took it into his own hands, my big crazy dog. What were you saying?
I was saying that the pellet gun did kill it because my dog, he did pick the thing up and run around, but if I hadn't shot it 3 times, it wouldn't have fell out of the tree.
Okay, so the gun and the dog both killed the raccoon. Jacob Jones says, "Don't piss her off or she will nab ya. LOL." You're right. You're right. Don't annoy me. Just kidding. I'd never shoot anybody. CraigShipp says, "It's not a good idea to mess with the Butlers." You're right. We're pretty crazy. We're a big crazy family. So Ben, back to guns. Can you tell me what kind of gun you have?
20 gauge Remington 870.
All right. And where did you get this?
Dick's Sporting Goods.
So Ben, being that you're 12 years old, right? So Ben's 12 years old, and in the state of Maryland, it is illegal to own a gun at 12 years old. So to get this gun, Ben had to have somebody sign for him that is over 18. So who did you have sign for you?
My father.
So technically, Ben doesn't own the gun. My dad owns the gun, but we call it Ben's gun because it's technically Ben's gun, right?
Yeah, I paid for some of it. I gave him some money.
So how much money did you pay out of your pocket for this gun?
I think about $100.
Okay, do you know how much it cost, like, overall?
It's $320.
So Ben's 12 years old, and he loves hunting so much that he saved up $100 to buy a gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you make all this money?
I think mostly from shoveling snow.
Yeah, so, it's been snowing this past weekend here in Maryland, and Ben has been going around shoveling neighborhoods just so we can get money, probably so we can buy more ammo and guns and maybe bows, right?
Yes.
All right, Ben, so tell us a little bit about what goes into the shotgun to make it shoot.
So shells go into this shotgun shells, and there's a bunch of different kinds of shells for what you're going to shoot. So if you're hunting deer, I'd recommend shooting slugs because it's illegal to shoot anything else in the state of Maryland. So a slug is just one bullet in a shell, and everything else that's not a slug in a shell is a BBs, and they come in different sizes, and that's the number of shots. If you get number 1 shot, you're not going to have as much balls in there, and the balls in the BBs, they're going to be bigger. And so right here, this is some turkey shot. It's number 5 shot. And it's it's number 5 shot, and it's 3 inches long, and it's for the 20 gauge. And
so it's turkey shot, right?
Yes. And one thing you'll notice about 20 gauge is all 20 gauge shells are yellow. So if you find any shell that's not yellow, don't put it in your 20 gauge shotgun.
Okay, Ben. So what's the difference between a 20 gauge and a 12 gauge?
So a 12 gauge is a lot bigger, and you can do more damage with it, and it also has a little bit more power, and you can shoot farther and stuff like that. So it's just like 20 gauge times 2, I guess.
No, Ben, since you're kind of a smaller guy, because you're 12, no offense, I'm not trying to bring you down. I'm just saying, because you are 12 years old, Ben's not fully grown, obviously. So how come you have a 20, does having a 20 gauge have anything to do with that? If you were bigger, do you think you'd have a 12 gauge?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, so does a 20 gauge have less kick than a 12?
Yeah, it does, but 12s don't have that much more kick, and it all depends on what kind of gun you get and how light the gun is. This gun kind of kicks a lot for a 20 gauge because it's pretty light, but it doesn't kick that much. It's still fine.
Okay, so you said because it's light. Now, what does that have to do with the kick?
So if it's lighter, that means when the shell ignites and goes out of the gun, then that means it's less weight for it to push. So that means it's going to come back harder than if you have a heavier gun, because it's harder for that shell to the power to push more weight back.
Okay. All right. So can you tell us about all this other ammo you have over here? Tell me what all these boxes of ammo are.
So
hold on, wait to talk until you can just pick it up. All right.
So this ammo is what you want to use for small game. So rabbit, some birds, and squirrel. So, can I see the box? So, this is number 5 shot. It's for 20 gauge, and it's 2 3/4. So, for a 20 gauge, the longest length it can be is 3 inches. For a 12 gauge, it can go to 3.5 inches.
So I'm noticing this shell says some stuff on it. What do these numbers mean exactly?
So it says Remington Express. So the 2, 3/4 on it, you probably can't tell, but it says that. That means it's 2 3/4 long. That means that's the length. And it has a 1 and a 5, and that says it's number 5. Number 5 shot. Sorry about that. And yes.
All right, so I'm just going to show you guys this shell. So also, I want you guys to notice, I know I'm not a hunting expert like Ben is, but shotguns shoot shells, not bullets. So what's the difference between a shell and a bullet?
A shell has, okay, so let me think. All right, so a shell has fire. A shell has a lot of different things in it, where a bullet is just one big metal piece.
Okay.
So a shell has gunpowder in it, and BBs or a slug in it. So, and it also has a wad in it, which is a plastic thing that helps it shoot.
Okay, so now I'm going to answer some of your guys' questions instead of asking Ben some questions. All right, so Scott SJ says, we have a squirrel problem eating through roofs and running between the floors. I live in a condo complex and squirrels are a big problem. We can't shoot guns here. So maybe try some rat poisoning, because doesn't that kill squirrels too, I would think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so Ben the hunting expert says it would probably kill squirrels. So try some rat poisoning, all right, Mr. Scott? Brad Tech Webcast says, Ben, gun, be careful. We're going to talk about hunting safety here in just a minute. Excellent listener says, Ben sounds like a hard worker. That will serve him well. I agree. Ben is a very hard worker. Dominic says, Ben is the man. You're right. Ben's the man. Flippin' Zippo said, did anybody else get to learn this in elementary school? Well, Ben didn't learn this in elementary school. And I also want to say Ben is homeschooled. So maybe that does give him a little more time to go hunting and play with his guns, because I know in school, especially right now, they don't want anybody having guns in there. David Williams says, a self-reliant youngster, need more with those traits. You are right. Sarah Easterday says, how did Ben learn to shoot a gun? Where does he practice? So, Ben, how'd you learn to shoot a gun and where do you practice?
Well, my brother taught me a lot of the stuff, and my grandparents taught him a lot of the stuff. So, in fact, I shoot some of the guns at Sarah Easterday's house.
Yeah, Sarah Easterday is our grandma, by the way. I just wanted to let you guys know. That way you don't think we're going to some random lady's house.
Yes. And, yeah.
Yeah, so Ben also practices sometimes at Sarah Easterday's house, and he learned from my granddaddy and my brother. And is there anybody else who taught you?
Well, and at the Mount Airy Isaac Walton League, they have a trap shooting organization thing that they do, and they help you and teach you how to shoot a gun as well, and the hunter safety course that you have to complete to hunt.
Yeah, so there is a hunter safety course that you have to complete to legally hunt in. I think it's a lot of states. I don't know if every single state has that, but here in Maryland, we do have a hunter safety course that is required that you pass it in order to obtain a hunting license in the state of Maryland. So if you have a hunting license, that means that you can legally hunt as long as you have permission, and it can't be within a certain range of households. So tell me about getting your hunting license.
Okay, so what you do is you go through the course, and you go there 2 nights, I believe, and they teach you some of the stuff you're going to need to know and some of the stuff about the test. And then in the morning you go take the test, and you also shoot a 22, and they show you some stuff about hunting.
Okay, so what do they teach you about safety?
So one of the things they taught was in a tree stand to always wear a harness. And so, because I'm pretty sure the most deaths caused by hunting was because of tree stands, people falling out, and I don't know if it's deaths, but like broken bones at least.
So actually, I remember this because I took the hunter safety course as well. The most amount of deaths or injury during hunting was not from a gun or a bow. In fact, it was from falling out of tree stands. So that's one important thing, but that doesn't really have a lot to do with guns. So, Ben, can you tell me about gun safety?
So whenever you have a gun, you always want to point in a safe direction. So I'm pointing this gun up because it's not going to shoot anyone. And yeah, what if the gun goes off? It's not going to go off because, as you can see right here, it's open, and you can see that there's no ammo in this. And whenever you go like this, if there was any shells in there, they would have ejected by now. So yeah, and whenever you're gun hunting, you always wear orange. So the law is you have to wear a full orange hat that's completely orange, or a vest that's at least 50% orange.
Okay, so could you wear that hat?
No. I just wanted to wear this so you guys will be reminded that you have to wear orange. But I didn't wear my vest. But I have one downstairs.
Okay, so you technically can't even wear the hat that Ben is wearing because it does say NRA in camo, and that makes it a not all orange hat. Now I'm gonna read some more comments from you guys. Yes. I'm gonna hand Ben the mic for a few minutes and just let him talk while I look at these.
So you could wear this hat, but you would have to wear a vest or some sort of other orange camo. Or it's not just a hat, like if you wore a fanny pack, say, or a neck warmer. If that's all orange, then I'm pretty sure that would be good enough.
Okay. All right, so Dominic says Ben and Blake are cool dudes, always doing cool stuff. Pretty much, they're pretty cool. Blake is my brother, just so you guys know. I haven't had him on my show. Maybe I'll have to get him on here. Excellent listener says, from listening to these two, I'm pretty sure I would like to meet Mr. and Mrs. Butler. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Butler are pretty cool, but I must say their kids are quite different from them. My dad's a school teacher. He hunts every now and again with Ben and Blake, but he's never been super duper into it. I'm sure he would, maybe if he had more time. My mom she takes care of us, so she's pretty cool too. My parents are both really cool, but I'm just saying they're not super into hunting and all that stuff. They're a little different than you would expect. Clive says, PETA, people eating tasty animals. Couldn't agree more. Arwag says, a 20 gauge shotgun, in my opinion, is the best all around gun. I have several 20 gauge double barrels. You got a good gun, Ben. What do you have to say about that?
I say that's true. And so my brother Rhett is the one who actually hunts more. Blake skates. So
yes. So like I said before, I have 5 younger siblings. I'm just gonna tell you guys this right now so we don't have to go over this in every video. Rhett is the next sibling from me. He's a boy, and yes, his name is Rhett Butler. And if you've seen the movie Gone with the Wind, that's the main character in it. I don't know why my parents did that, but they did. And then there's Blake and Ben and Jane and Audrey, and those are my siblings. Flippin' Zippo says, I want venison. You know what? If you want venison, hit us up. I'm sure Ben would be happy to give you a little bit of deer. Flippin' Zippo says, don't buy hunting gear from Walmart. Brad says, hi, Sarah. Hi, Brad. Flippin' Zippo says, deer can't see blaze orange. And can deer see blaze orange? Hunter expert?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you anything about that. But I buy a lot of my gear from Walmart, so.
Okay. And Ted says, Ben, if you had to choose pheasant, partridge, or quail, which one?
I've never hunted bird before, so I don't know.
So Ben doesn't know because he's never been bird hunting. Clive says, extra points if you've got another sibling named Ashley Wilkes. Sorry, we don't have a sibling named Ashley. O Frog says, Benyard. KV Barry says, hey, Ben. Hey, Kelsey. Kelsey is our cousin. So, is there anything else that you'd like to say about guns?
Well, And shotguns, there's a whole other slew of guns out there. I don't have any other, so I have a muzzleloader. That's the other gun I have. I would have brought it up here, but my cousin double loaded it because he didn't know there was a load in it. But thank God he didn't shoot it because he would have blown the gun up. And so double loading is, so in a muzzleloader, you get a bullet and you get your powder and you shove it down in there. And the barrel can only handle so much pressure. So you only want one shot in there at once.
That's very smart. Okay, and also Ben, I want to ask you, what do you do? Like, is there any kind of animal that you've shot and not ate the meat from?
No, but there you gotta watch out because some animals have diseases and stuff. But you'll see that usually those have some weird disease. You'll see it if there's something wrong with it because when you get the animal, you have to skin it up and everything and gut it out, and you see a lot of the insides and stuff. So you'll figure out if it has a disease.
Okay, so you ate a raccoon?
No.
Yeah, so Ben must have forgotten, but he hasn't eaten raccoon. Raccoons, though, are considered varmints, so it's legal to shoot them because they're just like varmints, pests or whatever, because they get into things, and there's like a ton of them. But he has eaten squirrel and deer.
A lot of people do eat raccoon. I've never tried it before, but there's plenty of people out there that eat coon and possum. I think so.
I think so. So maybe next time I'll have to get Ben to eat some raccoon in front of you guys for the live video and we can see how it tastes. Ben, have you ever shot a bear before?
No, I haven't, but I hope to soon.
So Ben has also tried bear, but he hasn't shot one, and so have I. Bear is good. It's a little fatty, but it's still a good thing. Clive says, varmint. Love that word. Arwag says, raccoons are highly intelligent animals. I'm sure they are very intelligent, but that's part of the reason that they're kind of pests because they get into everything. O-Frog says, Ben, you want to hunt this week?
Sure.
Ben's down to hunt any week. It doesn't matter. As long as it's in season and not illegal because Ben doesn't want to be a poacher. So tell me about seasons.
So there's bow season, gun season, and muzzleloader season. For deer, that is, in Maryland. So there's no more gun season this year because gun season, so they have a couple 2-week seasons or something like that, and then they have a couple day seasons. And so they also have a junior hunt day. That's when they try to give kids a chance to kill a deer, even though they don't hunt a lot, And so what that is when only 16 and under people can hunt. But the 17 and older, they can hunt, but they have to use a bow. But kids can use a gun.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you this question. Lori Butler asked a question. She said, where did you get your muzzleloader?
I actually won that. JB Fort hosts a junior hunt thing where you can go to his house and some people will hook you up and they can take you hunting sometimes. That's on the junior hunt day or whatever. And that was November 10th and 11th, I believe.
Okay.
And they actually had every kid that was there, they entered them in a gun that the NRA gave away, and I won it.
So what do you have to say about the NRA, Ben?
They're a very good organization, and you should join the NRA.
Coming from a 12-year-old boy, join the NRA, guys. Join the NRA. Hannah Bear 123 says, hey. Hey, Hannah Bear 123. Okay, so Ben was going to clean a gun for us today, but I think I'm going to have him move on and talk about his bow. And we're going to have to do a separate video of Ben showing you guys how to clean a gun. How would you guys like that? Do you want to see more of Ben and his guns? Let me know in the comments. So grab your bow and come back over here. So Ben has used a shotgun, a muzzle loader, and a bow and a 22 to kill animals with and eat the animals. And notice that we don't waste the meat. So that's one important thing. We're not killing the animals for no reason because that would just be, bad. But we're actually eating the meat in our home and not letting that go to waste. So here's Ben. Here's his bow. What kind of bow is this?
This is a Mission FIT. A Mission FIT youth bow. So you'll notice I have this thing on my hand. This is called a release. So instead of pulling the bow back with your fingers, which after you do that a while, your fingers start to hurt. So this is a release. So what you'll do is you'll get this release and you clip it onto this little thing on your bow. And you make sure that your finger isn't in the way of this thing because you don't want to pull back and dry fire your bow because that will mess up the strings. So.
Okay, wait, Ben, before you do this, what's a dry fire?
A dry fire is when you pull back your bow and you let the strings go without an arrow in it.
So do not dry fire your bow because that can completely break your bow. And bows can be pretty expensive. What's the price range, would you say, for bows?
Well, a brand new, they can get pretty expensive. They can get up to like $2,000 probably. If you go out and buy the newest, like, I don't know, Hoyt bow or something, it could get up to $2,000. They're pretty expensive. But this one actually was given to me by my brother because he got a crossbow. And this one, I think it was $550 or something like that.
Okay, so go on and pull the bow back for us, but don't dry fire your bow, okay? Especially right after saying that on this live show. So look at that. Ben can pull back his bow. And just so you guys know, in order to shoot a deer, your bow must legally be a certain draw weight. So Ben, what's the legal draw weight for bows?
It's 30 pounds.
So Ben is able to pull back over 30 pounds with one hand at 12 years old. So how much does your bow, how much is your pullback weight?
I think it's 30 couple. Now, I don't...
30 couple, what's that mean?
I mean, like, between 30 and 35. So, I would have it at more, but I probably couldn't pull back much more, because what you do is when you get your bow set up, you go to the bow shop. I went to Mount Airy Gun Shack, and they put a weight thingy, and they pull it back, and it tells them how much weight it is, and they'll give you a spot, and they'll put an arrow in it in case you need to release it, and safe area, so if you need to release it, you can release it, and then you pull back the bow and you see if you can do it or not. And so I tried 45 pounds, I think, and I could barely do it, but you want to make sure that it's easy for you to do it because you want to be able to pull it back on maybe like a weird angle or something, say if the deer's behind you, and you can only pull it back like that. You got to be able to do it a bunch of ways and stuff.
Okay, so real quick, people are asking questions. Clive says, wait, I'm an admin now. Yes, Clive, you're in the wrench gang, as CraigShipp says. Flippin' Zippo says, question for ya, and the watch guys here. Anyone ever encountered a deer skin watch strap? I'm gonna make some. So, have you ever heard of a deer skin watch strap?
No.
Do you think that'd be cool? Would you wear that?
Yeah. Oh, a watch strap.
Yeah, watch strap.
Oh, yeah, I would wear that.
Yeah, so Ben thinks that's a pretty cool idea. So Flippin' Zippo, you should definitely make some of those. Brad says, Sarah, you have a lot of talent. Keep doing your show. It's great. Thank you. Brad says, Sarah, you like Australia? Australia is pretty cool. I actually met some Australian dudes when I was at National High School Rodeo Finals. They were really nice. They were actually really polite. I was it was fun. It was great. Let's just say that. All right, so you want to talk about broadheads? What's a broadhead?
Okay, broadheads, which you use to kill the deer on the end of your bow. So when you're just shooting for practice, you use what is called a field tip. Now
this is a field tip.
It's just a little point on the end. It's not super sharp. And so that way, when you're shooting your block, you get a block. And it's a bunch of foam compacted into one thing usually. And you don't want to mess up your target, and you don't want to get a 2-inch broadhead stuck in there, and it's really hard to pull out. And these are easy to shoot and everything. And that's a field tip. And this is a broadhead. Now, there's all sorts of broadheads out there. Now, I don't even know what brand this is, but it's 100 grains. So, the grain of your broadhead has to be in some sort of likeness of your bow weight. So, you got to make sure you don't get a 200 grain arrow and be shooting like 30 pounds, because that means that then the arrow would fly wrong and it wouldn't fly right. But this is a 1-inch spread, and it's fixed blade. So some arrows, they have mechanisms on them where the blades will fold in or something, so that way when you shoot it, it'll open up in the deer. And these might not make it bleed as much, but you still get a fine blood trail and all that. And also, see, I would shoot expandables, maybe. That's what they're called. But, they you have to have more weight. Like if I had 45 or 50 pounds, then I could shoot expandables. But the arrow needs to go all the way through the deer usually. And it might not be able to push all the weight through.
Ted says, Ben, remember that TV cartoon with the raccoon called Cedric?
No.
I don't know what TV show that is either. I'm bad. I don't watch TV enough. I'm like doing other things. TGV fan says, are you ready for the zombie apocalypse?
No.
Really, Ben? I think you're more ready than a lot of people out there. You got your bow. You could shoot him with that 100 grain broadhead. You got your muzzle loader, your shotgun. I'm pretty sure Ben is actually ready for the zombie apocalypse, whether he wants to admit it or not. He definitely could take down some zombies. Flippin' Zippo says, kill a hay bale with that thing. Have you ever shot a hay bale with your bow?
I don't think so.
Wow, Ben. All right. R-Wag says, Ben, what's the range of the bow?
Well, for full impact, the full 30-pound impact, it could shoot a lot farther than 20 yards, but I have the farthest away I'll shoot a deer is 20 yards. And if say there's a deer out 21 yards, like I might shoot that, but like I'm not exactly 20 yards, but about 20 yards usually.
Okay, so the range is 20 yards.
But on a bow, you have these different pins, and you sight them in for different distances. So each of these pins is for different yardages.
You want to show them the pins up close? So just bring them up to the camera, just so they can kind of see from your angle that you're looking at. So shoot my hand. If you were going to shoot my hand.
So you would line, so if you were at 10 yards, you'd line this one up behind the shoulder of the deer and release your arrow. Say you're at 15, you use the red. And at 20, you'd use the green one.
So can you say that again? I don't know if the microphone was close enough. Sorry.
All right. So at 10 yards, you would use the yellow pin, and at 15 yards, you would use the green pin, and the red one, and at 20 yards, you'd use the green one. And you can get sights with different, like with 6 pins, so you can shoot at different distances and stuff. But I just don't have it at that because I don't need it.
Okay, so Ted says the cartoon is called The Raccoons. All right, we'll definitely have to check that out. Is it on Netflix? Let me know. O-Frog says, like schwackers. So Ben likes to say the word schwacker all the time, and he comes up with all these weird words because he's 12 and he's Ben. No. So what's your favorite word to use right now?
Cheek.
So what does cheek mean?
I don't know, like if your cheeks means you're not very good at something. If you got cheeked, it means like something bad happened, I guess.
Yeah, Ben makes up these weird words. He's a weirdo, and today he kept like saying cheeked. I don't understand, but anyway, Ben's just a weird hunter. So that's Ben. Scott says, how much power do you need to kill a deer?
You have to have 30 pounds or more.
So I noticed that Scott spelled deer wrong the first time, and then he corrected it. So make sure that you guys can tell the difference between deer and deer, if you know what I'm saying.
So Owen, he's O-Frog 27. He said, like schwackers, do you mean like the bow like is like schwackers, or like do I like the brand schwackers? Because there's a brand of broadhead schwackers.
All right. So what do you mean, Owen? Can you tell us? Do you have anything else you want to say about bows, guns, hunting, anything about that?
I don't know. Well, the cams, this has a lot to do with the poundage of your bow. So if you want to, however many poundages you want, you adjust the cams. And I don't know how to do that. That's why I just take it to the bow shop to do that. But if you have cams this small, it's going to be harder to pull back your bow. And when you get it all the way pulled back, you're going to be holding 30 pounds. But with these, it's called let off. So you have a certain percentage of let off. I'm not sure what this is. But this, when you pull it back, you'll only be holding about 10 pounds or something, so it's easier to hold it longer because you need to be able to hold it back for however long you can. So the deer's staring at you for 5 minutes. You can't just stop it and give in. It'll just run away.
Okay, so let's see here. Flippin' Zippo says Ben needs a 22. Ben uses a 22 sometimes. I believe he borrows my brother's. O-Frog says, do you like Schwackers? Question mark.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so he does like Schwackers. Hannah says, good night. Good night, Hannah. Ted says, Ben, the NRA and the law say I can own guns. I want to buy an F-22 Raptor. Should I get one?
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Isn't that like a dirt bike or something? A Raptor? Like, that sounds like a...
That's a car, I know, but I don't know if you mean like a something 22, like caliber 22.
I don't know. Sorry, Ted.
It's a fighter jet.
Oh, a fighter jet. Okay. All right. The Watch Lounge says, wait a minute. This doesn't have anything to do with watches, question mark. Yeah, it doesn't have to do with watches. Actually, yes, it does. We were talking about deerskin watches. So if you want a deerskin watch, ask Flippin' Zippo because he said he's going to start making them. All right. So thank you, Ben, for being on my show. You did a great job. Guys, I'm definitely going to be doing some more videos with Ben, and we're going to do a video on how to clean a gun because we did not have time for that on the show tonight. And I really want to get into more details about cleaning guns and gun parts with Ben. Also, I have a barrel race coming up this weekend, so stay tuned to hear all about it next Monday, if it doesn't get canceled because of the snow.
All right.
Anything else you want to say?
Thank you for the interview. I hope to be back soon.
See, Ben's a real polite guy. You know, there's not a lot of 12-year-olds that are good at hunting and nice. But anyway, that's my brother. So thanks for being on the show. So stay tuned, guys, for more videos of Ben and some more, tips on barrel racing. And I'm going to let you guys know how I do at the barrel race this weekend. Ted says, thanks, Ben. Bye. Bye, Ted. Bye, guys. Thank you.